They're fine. Hey everybody, welcome back to Stratego Freaks for the first live stream of the King of Strategus crown. Hopefully we'll be doing more of these in the future, and we'll see how I do. Now, I haven't done this before, so you'll have to forgive me for any technical mistakes I may make. Got a lot going on, so I'm a little distracted, but I'm going to give it my best go today. Let me check in on Stratego Freaks. Okay, it seems to be working. And we're going to be live pretty soon. So anyways, today's match is between JIREN and Nemesis. Nemesis won the crown recently from Maelstrom, who's one of the top players, online players in the world. And the lineage started with me, actually. I kind of bounced around this idea with the Discord and Strategus about like a King of the Hill kind of belt or crown. And then Maelstrom just kind of took that over and set up the format that we're about to watch today. And he did a fine job. So I was the first king, kind of the honorary crown holder. And I lost miserably to Winner in my first match. And I believe Winner lost that belt to Frosty. Now, if I get any of this wrong, I apologize, guys. And then Frosty lost it to Maelstrom, and then Maelstrom lost it to Nemesis. So now JIREN wanted to throw his challenge down, and he did. And so now we're here today. I expect a pretty good game from these guys. JIREN's a very strong player as well. Nemesis is improving his game daily, and these guys have faced off many times, and they're pretty evenly matched. Now, I can't see the match, so these guys need to make it viewable, and I'll have to remind both of them to make sure it's viewable. Now, there's going to be times where I may forget pieces. As I mentioned earlier, I run a business as well, and that's a little bit distracting. Okay, so let's watch this game. All right. Now, do me a favor, if you're on the YouTube channel on Stratego Freaks, don't forget to like and subscribe. One of the reasons why we made the Stratego Freaks channel is to promote this wonderful game. I've been playing for a few years now and didn't really consider the finer nuances of it until I joined the Discord and started interacting with some of these highly ranked guys, and it kind of changed the way I looked at the game. And I've improved quite a bit. I'm an A rate right now. You know me as Mantis, and but there's levels to this, and I'm at the lower end of the skill level and the knowledge level. But I hope to work my way up the ELO ladder and compete with some of these great players that we get to see every day. I expect these guys to take a while to get their setups in order, and who knows what to expect. I have no idea. Nemesis is my son, but he keeps his setups fairly close to the chest there. He doesn't give up a lot of information because we do compete against each other as well, and he doesn't want me to have any advantages. So we usually talk about his setups after the match is over. So I really have no idea what he's going to be doing for JIREN. I played JIREN quite a few times too, and he's strong. He's gotten the better of me more than once. And in fact, I think I just got my first win against him maybe a week or two ago, and I was pretty happy about that. I will say it wasn't his best effort, but he's good. So, bottom line is, guys, I want to promote this game and showcase the great players that we have here. So hopefully we can make this a regular thing. I can't guarantee I'll be able to broadcast all the games, but if there's anybody out there who wants a challenge match, or it could be just a random matches that people want put on here, I'm willing to do that if we can coordinate together and make it kind of fun. Ideally, I'd like to see this game become more popular, especially here in the United States. It seems like the rest of the world has a pretty significant advantage. We do have some great American players. Winner is one of those. And I know that Maelstrom represents North America up here, and we got some, Nemesis is coming up. And I just want to expand upon that and share this game with the world, and hopefully our channel and matches like this kind of promote it. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to take a sip of coffee here while I'm waiting for these guys. Also, I want to send a shout out to the creators of Strategus. When the original Stratego site went offline, I was bummed, and so was Nemesis. And all right, here we go. We'll get back to that speech later. All right, let's see what happens here, guys. I won't be talking over the entire match. I'll just kind of call out things that I notice and give you my 2 cents as the game progresses. Yeah, it's wild. You never know what to expect. This could be a very patient game. I know both players can vary their styles at any given moment. So, like when I play JIREN, he's usually pretty unpredictable, and that's what makes a good Stratego player. If you get kind of caught up in your routine and don't vary it, people pick up on that and they'll just pick you apart. So your job in Stratego is to keep things fresh, kind of iron out the nuances of your setup, and make sure you're keeping your stuff fresh. All right, Nemesis coming down on that left side of the board. Yeah, it's always interesting to see how people are going to play. And I believe, these guys decided on a ranked match as well, which is pretty cool. And normally these would be just casual, but I think both players love to compete, and they don't mind putting their ELO on the line against anybody. So it just made sense that they worked that out and made it a ranked game. All right, the piece discovered. Got an early miner in the center. At this point, there is really no information that would lead to any flag location or marshal location or any of the big pieces, really. So very early in the game. Looks like JIREN's using this miner as a scouting piece, and it doesn't mind moving it on to this F5 piece of Nemesis. Nemesis is a notoriously, he does take time in his moves and likes to think it out. All right, he's coming in with the 7 there. He wants to get rid of that miner, and willing to give this up for information. Hopefully find something good there. Yeah, I've seen Nemesis play several games where he's got just a few seconds left or under a minute at the end of the game, and his opponent has 10 minutes, but he still finds wins in those situations. So it's going to happen. All right, coming up the center there. I do anticipate a lot of tension to be built up, and then there'll just be a flurry of exchanges, and we'll see where the scouting lays out here. Okay. So major on the J5 for JIREN there. Yeah, once again, you'll have to forgive me. I'm going to forget pieces for sure. I'm like multitasking even as I sit here doing this, so I expect it. Now, please, I do know that Nemesis is not looking at the live stream. He's focusing on this, but try to avoid any comments in the comment section that would, and I don't believe JIREN's watching either, but in future, for future matches, we don't want to give any of the players an unfair advantage by making assessments on piece placement, things of that. It could help someone out if you have good knowledge on an opponent. Okay, another captain there discovered. And there's an early colonel. I believe that was a front row colonel. I could be wrong. Now, we know when we give up information early, those pieces become targets. Colonel's definitely a strong piece to target, so that's helpful to JIREN for sure. Yeah, this crown tournament is pretty much just for, it's fun. It's a way to have an ongoing competition outside of the normal tournament circuit that we see. And, I'm encouraging everybody to be aware of it and do it. It also gives an opportunity for, players maybe who don't have the highest ELOs, an opportunity to play high-ranked players and possibly get a win, because no one is immune to losses in this game. We all know that sometimes the worst player beats the best player, and it's just how things work out. So it gives an opportunity to some of these young guys starting up a chance to play someone really good and beat them, and they get to have bragging rights for a minute. So I think that's another reason why I want to see this King of Strategus take off. I know the World Cup Championships just took place, I think organized by Eagle 06, which looked like a great time, a huge success. And hopefully one day me and Nemesis will be able to participate in that as well. Yeah, I think Spion won that, and I think for the third time. Very impressive player. Obviously really well versed and consistent. It's definitely hard playing on a board. I feel very out of my element when we're playing on a Stratego board, but that's going to take some work. Okay, both players being fairly patient. I think that early Colonel move by Nemesis was a pretty aggressive play there. All right, tension building in the center, right side. A lot of unknown pieces still. And if you guys feel like there's any way that I can improve the live stream, whether it's my commentary or information, please leave some comments about what I can do to make this better. As I said, this is the first time I've done it, so I expect there to be a boatload of mistakes and whatnot. So go ahead and give me some good constructive criticism. Both guys taking their time. Roughly even on the time there. See, we've got 7 players viewing. This is great. Hello, everybody. Glad to see you all. Hope your day's going well. major hit there. And a push by JIREN. He's in the setup. He's in battle enemy territory there. Nemesis definitely thinking this one through. Yeah, I was batting around the idea of doing like a Friday night live stream every Friday, whether it was myself playing Nemesis or anybody else. Okay, that was an insta hit there. Wasn't buying the bluff there, potential bluff from JIREN. So he was willing to risk it to maybe get some info. Pretty decent hit by Nemesis. You know, these games are a war of attrition, and you know, almost every piece becomes important, especially when we get into the end game. So, you know, scouts are important, and it really doesn't matter. You're just trying to, you know, have a few extra pieces in the end that can afford you an extra hit, scout, or bluff. You know, so collecting pieces throughout the course of the match is definitely important. So if we look at the graveyard here, Nemesis with the slight advantage, having the 6 and the minor. Yeah, and feel free if there's any topics you want to see on Stratego Freaks. You know, I have a whole lottoing series I've been trying to put together, which is pretty hilarious, actually. I look forward to putting that out for you guys. And I haven't done an opening setup either. A lot of this stuff has already been done by a lot of other channels, but, you know, once again, I don't feel like you can have enough content out there when you're trying to promote something. So new and exciting ideas from different people is always going to benefit. So I hope to see some of you other guys with channels to really start putting your games out there and being mentors, really. All right, so here we go, a 6 discovered. You know, whenever a new player comes into the game, I like to make sure they feel welcome and help them out when I can, and do, like, you know, just keep them coming back. And I think that's important until they start to learn the game, because it can be frustrating. I think we all know that. You can come in and not know, and you'll get your butt kicked. And a lot of people just don't want to lose time and time again. So I think, you know, promotion comes with coaching, and hopefully you guys can pick up on that and create a lot of success for the future of this game. All right, pieces coming down here on the right side. Now, I can already tell that these guys are playing pretty patient here, and this could be a grind down to the end. And I do anticipate that one moment where, you know, someone's just going to go for it, maybe probably take a big chance to get an advantage. JIREN under 10 minutes. Yeah, both guys really taking their time here. Yeah, I want to send a shout out to Maelstrom. Thanks, dude, for putting this all. Okay. Well, there's a center Marshall, and he scooped up a major there. But now there's major info, or I should say marshal info. First big piece of the game next to that kernel over there. So we got a kernel on, I believe, B5 and a marshal on E5. JIREN's looking to respond. Now, a lot of times when the marshal's discovered, we know that the gen becomes active. And timing is definitely a factor, making sure you're bringing it to the right files in vulnerable squares. Okay, he's protecting that piece at the moment, not looking to give it up. Willing to find that piece out. H4 popping out. We'll see what happens there. Little game of cat and mouse here. I do know that that early marshal by Nemesis is not too common for him. He usually really likes to conceal that, and well, at least when I play him. But he brought that out early. Two-minute time differential between players. Nemesis with the slight advantage in time and material. Shout out to Skyfall. What's up, buddy? Got Warlock watching, Concord, Going Gray, which is pretty much my middle name, really, because I am really going gray. There's Marcy. Hey, Marcy. Christian. Yeah, I have no idea how this is going to sound, so I look forward to reviewing the live stream when it's over. So hopefully the audio is okay for you guys. JIREN really thinking this through. And JIREN, you know, this guy's a class act. I've had an opportunity to chat with him, and really nice guy, solid player, and you know, we need more players like JIREN out there. Marcy's another one. I played chess with Marcy the other day, and boy, did I get my butt kicked. That was brutal. Yeah, I will say Marcy's probably the finest chess player I've ever played. I'm 55 years old and have played for quite some time. But there was, once again, there's levels to this skill, and that kid clearly has it. All right, so here we go back to another tension moment where pieces are congregating, and the seal will crack soon. There's going to be some pieces taken, and we're going to start to identify what the rest of this board looks like. You know, when I'm playing very early in the game, I'm already thinking, where's the flag, where's the marshal, where's the spy? I think most of us do. But you know, I fall into a read player and I stick and commit to my reads. Okay, so there's the marshal of JIREN is now exposed. Things are about to get real interesting. I've had some really good help from Aaron Yeager as well. He's given me a few little clips of his games and gave me his reasoning behind them that will be really good educational pieces that I hope to turn into a video soon when I get around to it. Okay, so JIREN down the 2 minors, that could play a factor in the end of this game. Let's see if the GTO method of play is going to be happening here. So both players pretty much haven't moved the 2 back rows, and we all know that that means there's going to be a boatload of bombs back there, so navigating through that minefield is going to be challenging. Nemesis taking his time. 2-minute time advantage. JIREN with the 2-7 advantage there. So many different styles of play. I ultimately learning how to play up the big piece but down minors and vice in the minor pieces. There's nuances to it all. Some people have strengths and weaknesses in either situation. I think both of these guys understand those fundamentals pretty well. I remember when I first started playing, I would be up one big piece and I would think, oh, I got the game in a bag, and then I'd be down several minor pieces and that would just be too overwhelming to stop. And that's when the game started to change for me, when I just realized just being up a big piece or 2 isn't enough. You need material. All right, push over here on the A file. Minute time differential. Slight material advantage to Nemesis. Maelstrom's in the house. What's up, Maelstrom? Just chatting about you. Yeah, the way this game is going, I have a feeling it's going to be coming down to the final couple moves, and probably with a few seconds left on the clock. Who knows what's going to happen? One thing I've been working on is my time and making sure, okay, that's a aggressive hit there by Nemesis coming in. All right, he's pushing in. Nemesis might be wanting to force a martial exchange. Trying to parlay some of that piece advantage in his favor, and just kind of simplifying the board. Stratego does have that element in it, a little bit like chess. Sometimes the situations are complicated, and just by taking pieces off the board can make things a little bit more clear for you. Okay, that piece on C2, or that's coming across now over to the A file, potentially could be a bluff piece, or it could really be the gen. Okay, so we're going to find out what's happening here. Cat and mouse again, they're kind of going back and forth here. Okay, action on the right side, on the J side, piece coming down. Very close on time. Nemesis thinking this through. You know, as we all know, that especially games like this, there's going to be a decision that has to be made by both players. Sometimes one player makes a decision, gets the advantage, and it's up to the opponent to get that, that equalization move, and they might have to make a decision too. So, bingo guessing and lottoing is a part of the game. I know that, it's frustrating, and it can be just heartbreaking. Okay, so the exchange of marshals has happened. All right, here we go. We're about to get off to a real battle here. I still have no clue where Nemesis's gen is. If it was, maybe I forgot. Maybe if it was exposed, I apologize. But as I mentioned earlier, I am multitasking, so this could get a little confusing. All right, he's pushing. He's basically saying, that's my gen. Maybe. It's hard to tell with JIREN. He's crafty. Pretty sure Nemesis is contemplating the right move here. Will he hit, retreat? It's hard to say. He's pulling back. Now, I do believe one of these is the gen. I think that piece on A7 has moved. So if one of these is the gen, it looks like a dead piece. So time is nearly even now. And once again, I mentioned this is going to, I think these two guys are going to be forced into quick moves here. And that always makes things interesting. Myself, I notoriously do not play well under time pressure, but I always seem to find myself in time issues, so I need to really fix that in my game. Okay, retreating, not quite sure what's what, but we're about to find out. So that was a pretty good aggressive play by JIREN, forcing this piece into the middle. Looks like Nemesis is committing to that being the gen. Oh, he's coming around. All right, exchange of kernels. This should be interesting here. So JIREN with the centralized mystery piece could be the gen. Okay, even on. Oh, that major's dead. Okay, JIREN coming in and taking that, getting that captain. Scouting piece. Takes the 6. Looks like Nemesis is collecting a lot of pieces here. Seven discovered. Looks like Nemesis is pulling back a little bit, changing gears. Looking to grab that 7 right now. Any material is good material, if you're asking me. Bomb. Both guys utilizing what scouts they have to find a vulnerable piece. Maybe pick up something. Nemesis blocking off that lane so that piece cannot get down. Seven roof. Now he's got all 4 7s. JIREN pulling back out. 2 scouts remaining. Nemesis bringing out another piece here. All right, it looks like JIREN might go for another scout piece, or he might hit this one here. As time gets... Okay. All right, spies off the board. Captain revealed. JIREN pulling back. Yeah, Nemesis wasn't looking to get too squared there, so... All right, so pieces are moving. All right, scout gone. JIREN with no scouts left. Nemesis with 1. minutes left on the clock here for JIREN. As I said earlier, I believe this game's going to come down to the final seconds. Those two majors are definitely a factor, and we do know that if you have those advantages, it's hard to get pieces down when you've got big pieces blocking the files there. So that could play a factor here. Nemesis just kind of playing the patient game here and not willing to bring anything down yet. All right, both players picking up the pace because they kind of have to. Okay, that's coming down. Nemesis pushing. He's got 3 players down in the setup here, 3 pieces. JIREN looking to get this piece up the board. He's going to use, I believe that was his Colonel or Gen, I forget, to get it up. Oh, he's not making his way down. Doesn't want to do that yet. Now, I'm not quite sure if this ended up as a draw. I'd like to see a rematch clearly to settle that. It wouldn't not necessarily have to happen today, but I would love to see a rematch in the case of a draw. Okay. So, well, something's coming down here. Nemesis pushing. Not wanting anything to come down. Here goes the shell game, back and forth. Nemesis trying to contain pieces by bringing them down, not allowing things to come out. He's cornered this piece a little bit. Okay, captain. Exchange. JIREN down the 6, down the majors, has the extra captain and 3 extra, the 7s there. Now JIREN making a push down the left side of the board. Okay, so Nemesis is making a move on the J file here. That potentially could be a minor coming down. It's hard to say. JIREN coming in hot. JIREN searching for that tripod. Oh, okay, another minor gone. Now we know it gets very challenging to get to that flag when you're down low on minors. They become so valuable in the end game. You know, at times the most valuable piece on the board, but still lots of opportunity here for JIREN. Seven taken, getting one of those back. Now this could be, by JIREN, this could be his, oh, he kept it there. Oh, there's the kern. Now JIREN bringing pieces down into the setup. It's kind of a back and forth game here. Time is getting low. Definitely ticking. Looks like Nemesis is making a move. He's trying to find that. Blocks that off. Now Nemesis has a scout left. He might look to hit that E file piece to see. But JIREN doesn't look too worried about it. But he's gonna get there. Seven. Not the tripod. It's another dead piece though. Nemesis utilizing those 2 majors advantage pretty nicely. Alright, 2 potential tripod spots. Who knows? JIREN could have an open flag here. It's very hard to say. He's pushing. I think with the time constraints and he's going to have to make a move and potentially hit something here. All right, he's lottoing, and I don't blame him. I think at some point in the game, when you're down, you just have to. And you know, kudos to any player that does, you know, go for it, because I know a lot of guys will complain that they got lottoed and lost, but that's is strictly a part of this game. That was a big hit there. Will JIREN hit this piece? It looks, oh, 2 coming in. That Jen. Now 1 minor left for JIREN. 48 seconds left. There's a slight time advantage here for Nemesis. And the bomb. So down a kernel and 2 majors is very hard. Unless Nemesis has an open flag over here, it's going to be hard for JIREN to overcome that. Let's see what happens. Definitely not over. 34 seconds on the clock. And it's gone. What a good game, though. Very even in the beginning. Slight advantages were held up, and he just kind of grinded JIREN out of there. So our king keeps the throne. Put your hands together for these 2 guys for showing up and playing a pretty entertaining game. Now, Nemesis is open for any challengers, so please, if you want a shot at the title, just reach out and we'll set up a time. And if you want the game broadcast, we'll do a live stream and we'll show that one too. So thanks everybody for tuning in. That was pretty fun. Let me know how I did, and give props to these 2 young guys for putting on a pretty kick-ass match. All right, gentlemen and ladies, have a great day. I'll see you on Strategus later. Hope to get some matches in, and we'll talk soon. Bye.